Viewer beware, you're in for a scare.
Hey guys, so we are back again and we're here to talk about the Poltergeist movie. Now the first Poltergeist movie, yes I have it on my phone, was made in 1982 and the new one was made in 2015. We're actually going to mainly be talking about the one made in 2015 because I could not find the Poltergeist movie, the original one, for her to watch. Now I believe she's watched it several years ago.
Yeah, because I do remember that creepy scene with she's saying they're here.
Yeah, so I think she's seen it. We're mainly going to be talking about the new one. I will kind of give my thoughts on how I think the new one stacks up to the old one. And I will just have to say that the old one does have a place in my heart because it was like one of those movies when I was a little kid that really scared me actually.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with like old classic movies.
Mm-hmm.
You like, no matter how many times they make a new one, you kind of like the original old one better.
This is definitely more of a chit chat about the movie, not necessarily a review. So if you haven't seen the movie, I would probably go see the movie and then come back and like have a chit chat with us about the movie. Because that's kind of what we're doing more so on this channel. There will probably be reviews, like if we go and see like brand new in theater movies, instead of like spoiling those, I think we'd probably do more reviews. Yeah.
Instead of like conversation about.
Yeah, but I think like definitely we started this channel to be able to have a conversation about movies. You've been wanting to watch this movie for a while.
Yes, I have, because I saw the trailer and it looked awesome.
Yeah, and I think this was on the movie channel.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was on. I know last week was on Showtime, but I think this is on the movie channel, which is part of like the cable package. So we have like all the movie channels because we like movies better than people.
Yes.
Besides us and like
y'all, we love y'all.
We love y'all. Okay, so don't think that. You got more than 3. Anyway, so the movie starts off pretty much like the original, where a family is moving into a house. I do think it's interesting in this one that they're looking at houses versus like in the original they had already got the house and were moving in the house.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that the original had a little bit more creep factor just starting because all of the houses looked the same. Now there was a shot, not like the original opening scene like in the first movie, but there was a shot that it kind of looked like all the houses looked very similar.
Yeah. That would freak me out anyway.
Yeah. But I do kind of think that like the scary stuff started happening in this movie before the scary stuff started happening in the
Because it kind of happened right off the bat. Like, not really in the beginning, but like...
Yeah, I mean, I think like 3 scenes in, like, we saw like the little girl kind of talking to people and having some weird stuff happen. Like, she was like poked a stick down in the grass and it came back up.
She was giggling.
Yeah.
The kid already like looked at the closet and was freaked out. And
yeah, there was like pretty much right at the get-go, just like, this house is kind of creepy, y'all.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anything happening really in the first one until they started building the pool and they found like that it was like bones and stuff in there. And because I kind of felt in the first one that it was more like they disturbed the stuff, where pretty soon in the family, the parents go to a dinner party where they actually find out that the place that they have moved into used to be a cemetery. Yeah.
And they were told that the bodies were buried up and moved into a nicer neighborhood. Not really the case, which is how we got the Poltergeist.
Right. So apparently the bodies were not dug up. They were just, the headstones were moved and houses were built. Now, the houses had been there, I don't know, several years. I mean, they had been there for a while. And I guess that the whole thing was that they had been disturbed, but then the daughter, I guess, was like psychic or could communicate with the dead. Now, they also do have different names. So, in the original movie, the little girl's name was Carol Ann. And in this movie, her name was Maddie or Madison.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like a complete remake-over.
Yeah.
And I do think, just as far as that both movies are worth watching. Even if you like one better than the other, I think it was definitely... I mean, it had some good, like, scary parts. Now, for me, and you can't really,
especially the clowns.
Yeah, so at one point, the little boy finds a whole bunch of clowns in, like, the storage room. Now, I think this is creepy for many different reasons. Number one, it's kind of creepy anytime you move into a house and you find stuff from the previous tenant. It can be, like, fun and kind of creepy just because, like, who was this person? And then clowns kind of freak me the heck out.
Yeah. Though my dad dresses up like a clown there every October.
Yeah, that freaks me out too. I don't like it. So, he finds the clowns, and there is a clown kind of toy in the original one, but it actually belonged to them, where this is like a little creepier actually because it didn't belong to them.
Yeah, and they had like a nose that had a string attached to it. Mm-hmm. And that scene, like, not when he finds them, just the later scene when it kind of comes to life at him. Like, all you see is the nose, and you already saw it before. So when you see the nose slowly going back, you're just like, there's a clown. There's going to be a clown that's going to jump, and it jumped. I jumped. Yeah, there was, like, a lot of me jumping at nothing when the squirrel came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, so me going back, and like I told you, a lot of my commentary will be on the original versus this one.
And mine would just be
this one. Okay, so there is a tree scene, which I think is a pretty big thing in the first one. And it was completely different in this one. Personally, I think the one in the original better. Although I think this was probably much better executed.
Yeah.
Because it was good. I mean, but it dragged him throughout the house.
Because he was at the bottom stair, and it got from his bedroom window and like went.
And
all
his bedroom window was like in the attic. It was like all the way up.
Yes, it had like a ceiling type window, and it like grabbed him and then like pulled him all throughout the house and outside.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
But so like the tree in the original, it's tried to eat him. Like it actually, like it grabbed him, and it was like putting him. You know how like trees have like the holes, like I guess where
birds.
Like not like I guess, but more. It was more like where a branch had been cut off. And it kind of was like.
It was trying to eat him?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I may have dreamed the scene, but I really...
Well, this one did not try to eat him.
No, it was just like, it was kind of hanging him up. Yeah.
It was distracting him and his older sister from Madison when it was trying to get her into the closet.
Mm-hmm. And definitely in this one, it was like the closet, just like the original that she went into, like the other netherworld or whatever, which was interesting. And I mean, I think it kind of is interesting because I do think children especially are afraid of closets.
Yeah.
There's something kind of funny, like what is in the closet. Because you know how like clothes when you're in the dark can kind of look weird anyway. Like, is there somebody sitting in that chair? Is it a coat? You know? Yeah. And I think closets kind of have that. So I think that's kind of why they made that a closet where she went.
I was so scared of a closet that I just finally came out of one this last year. It was scary in the closet, and I was finally happy when I just escaped from it. His closets. Gay joke of the day.
She's happily out of the closet, folks. Okay? No poltergeist here. Parents come back from the dinner party where they have learned that the house is on a cemetery to find that one of their child has been tried to eat by the floor, and one child is like playing around up in the trees being juggled by the tree.
And then he just falls.
So they kind of know that something is not right, and then their daughter is missing.
Yeah.
So pretty soon after that, they see the hands on the TV, which I think is interesting. I don't remember hands being in the original one. I know that they talked to her through the TV, and then you saw the iconic, "They're here."
Yeah. Maddie actually said that, just not in like the creepy tone.
Yeah, I definitely think
she was just like,
there was a little bit of something special for the original.
Yeah, I think they wanted to give it just like, you can't take that away from the original. They didn't even want to try, so they were just like, they're coming.
And I'll have to say, like, they looked similar but different. I feel like they had like the same haircut. But they definitely, like, the original Carol Ann was blonde and blue eyes, and this girl had dark hair and blue eyes.
Yeah. They got the blue eyes.
Yeah, they did have the same haircut, but she definitely played it, I would say, more normal, where the original girl, it was a little creepier. It was a little bit creepier. But was it more creepy to have it played normal? You know what I mean? Like, this could be like an everyday kind of, oh, there's nothing weird about it.
And see, like, at first, they noticed that she was talking to, like, things, but they thought she had an imaginary friends that she was talking to. And when she disappeared, and they were, like, asking her question, like, the mom questions, like, has she been talking? And she's like, where's your imaginary friends? And usually when your daughter goes missing inside of a TV,
you may think there may be more than imaginary.
Yeah, like, your first thought is, oh, my daughter imaginary friends might not be imaginary.
Right, yeah.
Not just like, when my daughter's trapped in a TV, I don't know what to do.
Pretty much like the original, they go to some paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
Which I thought the paranormal investigators were fun. Like, one of the guys, I felt like he was kind of being a jerk at first, and then there's a scene which I think that this scene is the scariest scene in the whole movie.
I know what scene you're talking about.
Where he is like trying to drill a hole into the closet, and his drill doesn't work. He goes plug it up, so you got a drill with this big long cord, and he drills a hole in the wall. Well, instead of drilling a hole in the wall, a big hole punches into the wall. And all of a sudden, his drill pulls.
It just sucks.
Yeah, it sucks the cord. And I'll have to say, like, he was very, very skeptical. He actually thought that they were, like, making all this up to try to make money. And so he's a little freaked out, but he's still...
Well, before that, at the tea set thing, when he sat down...
Yeah, and what was weird is there was, like, weird things that had went on. It wasn't like it was... not weird, so I don't know why he kind of thought it was, maybe he thought that was put on too, I don't know.
Yeah, but I like how they kind of like get it between like the funny, they have some humor in it, like when the dad said, did you caught that on your time-lapse camera, and then
I do like horror movies where there's a little bit of humor in there. I do like that.
Yeah, but then he, like she was saying, he didn't really believe until it like he went to reach to grab it, and he got it, tried to pull back, but it pulled him in, and then that drill just kept coming out. And
from the inside of the wall, and it was like, it started off, it was like maybe this far away from his face, like, because his face is right up against the wall, and it like went here,
and he can't move
and
at
it went
all.
Here, and then it went like right
it like narrowly missed his nose.
And finally, like, it let go, and you look, and the drill is on the ground, and there's no hole in the wall.
No big wall, no small holes. It was just nothing.
And there was like cases in the first movie where people did hallucinate.
Yeah.
There was one guy that was eating chicken, and he looked down, and it was like full of maggots.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, there was a scene in this one
with the dad with worms,
where he was drinking, and like he imagined he was like throwing up worms.
Yeah.
So I guess they decided like they were going to do like a scene with the food or drink thing, and then they did one with the drill, which I thought was probably the scariest scene in the movie. They call in another person, like I guess a clairvoyant, who in this movie is not like a short older lady who kind of makes the movie, I feel like, in the original one.
Yeah.
This is a man who actually has a TV show, but he's pretty legitimate. And the oldest daughter actually has, like, is a fan of his, which is kind of funny.
She watches, her and her friend watch the TV, and they were, like, fangirling about him.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And what was also interesting is that him and the lead paranormal investigator,
the woman was like,
you could definitely tell just from the
beginning.
Yeah, like the one scene they had together, you could say like, oh, there was history there.
There was
So I think like they really acted that good because I mean it was like one line and you could say there's history.
Yeah,
there.
like she was slaying us inside, and then she barely would like look at him, and then like of course later, you found out that they were like married at one point, and I think they got a divorce, or they didn't, but they were broken up.
I think they were divorced because they said we used to be married.
Oh yeah.
It pretty much ends, or how they get her back is the same as in the original. They found you can go through the closet and it comes out from a hole in the ceiling, and they're going to put a rope in there. I think, but I'm not positive, that the dad goes in the original, or the mom goes in the original. It's one of the parents.
It's one of the parents, but
I believe
this one, her brother goes in because before she was dragged into the closet, he actually saw her. And he saw the closet acting up, and he was just too scared to react. He just like said, "Don't go near the closet," then ran off as soon as the door shut. So he kind of felt guilty. So he felt like he should have been the one to go in and rescue her.
I thought he was very brave. He did feel really bad.
Yeah. I mean, you would too, like, if
now, I will say, like, who knows? He may have went back, but as soon as he left her room after saying, like, don't go near the closet, that's when he did get grabbed by a tree. So you don't know what he would have done. He may have, like, turned back around and, like, come on with me, let's go, you know, whatever. But he did get grabbed by the tree. So he actually, like, ran and saved her, and they got out. I found it interesting that the original, that was pretty much the end of it. Like, she was rescued, and then they left the house, where now they're sitting in the car after...
Plot twist time!
You know, plot twist. They're sitting in the car, and...
they're just, like,
getting ready to go. And the guy said, this is where, like, the guy being in a TV show kind of comes in, like, his...
And he's like, the house is now clean.
Yeah, that's what he says at the end of all of his shows.
Then this little girl...
She says, but it's not, though.
It's not. And they're like, oh, yeah, you show them into the light. And she was like, no, I didn't. I never showed them into any light. And they were just like, all right, let's get out the car. And they couldn't get out. The doors were, like, shut. The belts wouldn't unbuckle. And the car started to go forward. And then...
I think it flipped over.
Yeah, it flipped over onto its side. After, like, putting a dent in the hood, I remember that much. And then it just went through the
She said, remember, we watched it, like, 5 minutes before we made this video.
I'm sorry! Well, yes, it went through the living room. And, like, they were just like, okay, is everyone okay? Maddie... Okay, she's a cute little girl, but she gets on my nerves.
But, like, how does she get out of the car? That's
how
a
does
good
she
question.
get out?
Like, did the thing get her out of the car? Did she climb out of the car?
I mean,
questions to be talked about down in the discussion.
But I believe that she climbed out, because if it pulled her out, she would have screamed or, like, flailed her arms. But no, there was no sound. She just was by the staircase and like, Mommy, Daddy. And then all of a sudden you see her screaming and being like pulled away.
The guy that is like the paranormal investigator, he decides that he's the only one that can save them. He goes and like shows the people the light. And it kind of shows at the end that he survived.
Yeah.
So,
because like of course his ex-wife, before he went in, she was like, no, you don't have to do this. And he's like, yes I do. But yeah, at the end, after the house is totally destroyed, which none of the neighbors see.
Yeah, this is what bothers me about this movie, is like, there's like screaming.
There's loud
There's
screaming.
like trash everywhere. The house is being destroyed.
It's being blown up. You see
the
a
car's
car
flipped over, sliding into,
yeah,
and there's no neighbors out there. The
Yeah.
only time you see neighbors is when the family's actually in a car and leaving, and
yeah,
the
and
cops
see,
coming.
if there's no neighbors there beside them, they never explain that. All they show you is that they're moving into a house and then they're having a dinner party.
Well, I do think that they say that there's been a lot of foreclosures in the area, so they may not have a lot of neighbors,
Yeah.
but they did have some.
They did
because
have
there was
some.
cars in driveways.
Yes.
So I thought that was a little.
the lights
you know,
were flickering too, and you would be like, okay, get
Yeah.
the salt.
I thought that was a little like, what's going on, really, people? I feel like this movie has as many unanswered questions as It Follows had, but it's still a fun movie to talk about. I want to talk about all the horror movies because I love horror movies. So, like, do you think there's going to be another one? Do you think there should be? If you've seen the original and you've seen this one, which one do you like better? Okay, guys, so remember not to play with clowns. Stay out of the closet and don't talk to people in TVs.
Yes. Don't mess with clowns in general.
Yeah.
Unless you purposely want to.
To get possessed and go to like some kind of weird parallel
Be
dimension.
traumatized for the rest of your life.
And stay out of the closet. Closets are for clothes, not people.
Yes. Unless you go into Narnia.
Narnia.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Alright guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.